Welcome back to a little bit of cheese, your bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast. My name is Cody Depus. That is Sam Douglas. It is Thursday, October 23rd, 2025, and we've had some time to sit and think and kind of let the Brewers' postseason loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers stew. I think this is good. Not a lot of instant reactions, or we've had some time to think about this, but I'd like to hand the mic over to you first, Sam. What is to blame after this loss, and kind of where does this series resonate with you in terms of the entire season and what we just witnessed with the Milwaukee Brewers in 2025?
I think you asked me about a month or so ago if the Brewers get swept in the middle of everything that was going on, in the middle of this beautiful regular season we were having. You asked me if getting swept right away, the 2 games out of the 3-game series, would that change the season? And I said no, and I still believe that. What the Brewers did this year was nothing short of awesome. It was a summer of fun. It was the power of friendship. It was playing with a lot of joy. The Brewers got into a rut at the same time that the Dodgers had rested pitchers throwing their tails off. The key to this series was always going to be getting into that Dodger bullpen, which we didn't have a chance at. We never saw much of the bullpen working. Didn't deserve to. When Shohei is the 4th pitcher that they can roll out on us. I mean, everybody was healthy for them, and guys were healthy for us, but they just stopped playing Brewer ball. And I would have loved to see them put up a better fight. I like that Churia. I like some of the things I saw. Contreras stayed a little bit clutch. Churia is still a dog. I think Durbin is here to stay. But does it come down to the pocketbooks? I think we always kind of knew that. And the Brewers did everything they possibly could. Getting swept wasn't the best, but outside of that, man, I don't know what else you could have asked for.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where we all sit with this. I mean, especially after watching that series and kind of knowing what kind of transpired there with that Los Angeles team, that to this point, and we're before they kick off the World Series against Toronto, they're 9-1 in this playoffs. They rolled right through Philadelphia. They had absolutely no problems at all. This is a team that is completely different from what we saw when the Brewers won. They swept the season series and went 6-0. This is a completely different team. Yeah. You have Glasnow, who I don't even think was healthier on the roster. Same with Blake Snell and Yamamoto. He got unlucky in the regular season game. That was Andrew Vaughn's first game where he hit a home run on the first at bat as a Milwaukee Brewer. There was a lot of unluckiness there for Yamamoto. So us Brewer fans are probably thinking, oh, this guy kind of stinks, like we're going to go take it out. Yamamoto is probably like the 3rd best pitcher in the National League this year. And he was taken out after the first inning. Like I said, Dodgers defense didn't help him at all. Yamamoto was a very good pitcher, and we got to see that for 9 innings. And yeah, it's the bottom line. This team didn't hit. And you can say it's Brewer ball, and they weren't able to do that, but like they just didn't swing the bats. Like they couldn't hit anything. They had the lowest batting average for a postseason series by far. They hit under 120 in the entire series. They scored 4 runs in 4 games. What was it? Maybe 15 total hits in the entire series? You're just not going to win with that. And that's the bottom line. And you can look at it, and Los Angeles pitched really well. Don't get me wrong. I think that moment also proved to be a little bit too big for this Brewers team. It's really what it seemed like with a lot of the young guys. Nobody hit. The only guy who semi-hit was Caleb Durbin, and he had 3 hits the whole series, I think. Like, it still wasn't even lighting the world on fire. He did some things, and he's the only guy that we can bring up as, like, a guy who had a competent series because everybody else was just plain awful. And it's not an indictment on I don't think the managing. There are a couple of questionable things you could bring up with Murphy, but those are pretty nitpicky for me to this point. You talk about the lineup, and maybe that would have changed something. Nobody hit regardless of where they hit in the lineup. It didn't matter what the card said. The pitching, I think, did its job
It's
against a
fine.
lineup like this. Yeah,
Just fine.
the
Also,
bullpen.
welcome to the show, Jacob Mizorowski. If we're talking about this series, this Dodgers series, welcome to the show, Jacob Mizorowski.
Yeah,
Once again.
that's where you get excited
Yeah.
because that kid in the moments where everybody's got their eyes on him and they had questions, he was better than anybody else on planet Earth. He was incredible. So that's very, very exciting stuff going into next year and where Mizorowski can take his career. Next year is going to be very fun to watch. You'll still have some ups and downs. There's still going to be a bit of a roller coaster, and that's kind of what you look for with a kid like that. And we can actually even look at this through the lens. Max Scherzer is 41 years old and pitching tonight for Toronto, an inner circle Hall of Famer. Look at his baseball card and look at those first couple of years. It was not great, but those flamethrower kids that have that electric stuff, sometimes it takes a bit for them to figure out how to pitch. But we've already seen where Mizorowski can even get away with those kind of things. So, yeah, that's a big positive. I'm not a guy that's going to come out and scream that we need a salary cap or a salary cap, as my Zoom name is here today. I think baseball has more of a problem with teams not spending money. I think you start with a salary floor, and I think you start to look at how teams, and namely actually the Los Angeles Dodgers, defer contracts where they're not really paying Shohei Ohtani for another, I think, 8 years. And that's how they can go and sign
Yeah.
guys like a Michael Conforto and a Kirby Yates and have them be so bad that they don't actually make the playoff roster, but the team's fine because of how much other talent that they have. Like that. And
Mhm.
that's the difference here is the Dodgers can go and sign Michael Conforto and have him hit 199 and not really suffer too much because of it. But if the Brewers would have signed Michael Conforto, that would have been probably their fifth biggest signing in the last 15 years, and that would not have had the same the same result to this team. So it's not saying that the Brewers can't make a World Series with this, but it's certainly a lot harder when you don't have the resources that the Dodgers have. And yes, it helps so much to have all that money, but you also have to give credit to Los Angeles as being one of the smartest organizations out there too. They're not only the wealthiest, but they are also the smartest. They have better player development than anybody else too. There are players that get better when they go to Los Angeles, and it is because of that staff that they have there. It's because of their development. So it's a great organization. They're a buzzsaw. I don't give Toronto much of a chance stopping them. They
Really?
could. I
Yeah.
think it's fun. That American League was so fun on that side.
Yeah, it
Seattle and
was.
Toronto going down to it. That was
I
that
wish
was
Cal. I wish Cal would have had a chance to hit in Game
yeah.
Seven.
Yeah,
But
we got robbed of that at bat. That would have been
hey,
that was a
Toronto did
fun
their
series.
job. As much as we wanted him to hit, Toronto did not want him to hit, and
No.
they did their job.
No.
It was the last six batters straight. They were watching that from the seventh inning. Like, is Cal going to get a chance to hit? If they do anything other than six up, six down, and sure enough, the door got slammed shut on him.
And Seattle, like Milwaukee, had terrible approaches to their at bats when it mattered most there. Like they swung at pitches outside of the zone for all three of those strikeouts actually in the ninth inning, where a couple of them would have been walks and Cal would have gotten an at bat, which the Brewers would have won a series if Bryce Terang. And I do want to bring that up a little bit too, because I saw so many people, and yes, this thought crossed my mind, like giving Terang a bunch of crap for getting out of the way of that fastball that was going right at his kneecap and he jumped out of the way of it. I'm going to give him some grace because that can actually, when you have a ball thrown down in that area, that can like actually hurt things. to the point where you get out of it. Yes, you need to have the mindset where I can't get out of the way of a ball in a situation like this. Where I think we can be giving some flack to Bryce Terang is on the next pitch that was
Yes.
above his head and he swung
Thank you.
at.
Yep.
I'm not gonna yell at him for getting out of the way of that pitch, but on the next one, you better have better selection, and he did
Mhm.
not. So that is where I get frustrated, not in the fact that he didn't wear 97 off his kneecap. So yeah, but in all regards, a great season. I had a lot of fun. Mark Attanasio provided us with that summer of fun, not necessarily the fall of fun, but where I am content with this and where I'm happy with this is in the fact that they were able to take down Chicago in the division. That is where I had my fandom goals set, where I can be happy if this team can get over that first round curse that had plagued them for the last 7 years. They got over that hump this year, and they were able to do it against the arch nemesis in Chicago. So I'm happy about it purely for the reason of that. You could have won 85 games if they would have taken down Chicago in a playoff series. I think I'd still be happy with it. But 97 wins, the greatest regular season in franchise history. It'll be a summer to remember for everybody in Milwaukee. It was really fun, and the whole state of Wisconsin. Saw more people talking Brewers with me than I've ever experienced before in my life. So it was a blast. But that'll bring us to our big topic for today, and this is courtesy of Sam, as you've got all the brains with this. I lack with my creativity, but we're going to give all of the relevant Milwaukee Brewers awards today. So we're going to start off at the top, and I have and I don't know what Sam's awards are. He doesn't know what mine are, so we might actually have some duplicate awards. Maybe. I tried to make most of mine fun, but at the top here, and this might be a surprise to most people, and it kind of stings a little bit after his playoff performance, but Bryce Terang is my team MVP.
All right.
Because of what he was able to do this year, the quantum leap that he was able to take offensively. I think he's a guy that could hit 25 home runs, maybe 30 home runs next year. That swing really got hot in the second half. You saw the power, and the defense was still incredible. He brought the most value overall to this team, and I think he's going to get MVP votes this year in the National League. He could be a top 15 MVP guy.
He hit a 5.5 WAR, which is absolutely ridiculous. He led the Brewers in games, runs, hits, stolen bases. Obviously, WAR. Bryce Terang put on a show. Big fan of that. I'm going to start out with an honorable mention. Two guys that get the Good Riddance Award. That is Yoel Payamps and Aaron Savali. Thank you for your time. I'm very happy that both of you are off the roster. We're going to switch it to a little more positive award here. Jackson Churio gets my first award. He gets the Meek Mill Award. As Meek once said, I used to pray for times like this. And Jackson Churio, you are the face of the franchise. I'm so excited. Cody, we got one of the guys. He is clutch. He steps up. He's a five-tool player. He does absolutely everything. He's going to hit for power. He's going to hit for average. He's going to steal bases. He's going to be great defensively. And he's with us for a little bit. Contract, schmontract, I don't care what the numbers are. We have Jackson Churio on the team for a little bit. Shout out Meek Mill. You get the award.
Oh, it's chump change for what he's doing. He's getting like $10 million a year.
Yeah,
they're not
100%.
Paying him anything compared to the type of talent he has. No, they played that right. That is going to go down as the best contract in Milwaukee history. It's incredible. But it was a good contract at the time for both sides. So love that one. I have the Andrew Vaughn. He gets the Midday Coffee Award, where this team was solid, and you can be having a solid day at work. Sometimes you have a midday coffee to really, really kick it to the next level and make yourself have a good afternoon out for the rest of the regular season or the rest of the workday for the rest of us. And Andrew Vaughn was that big surprise, and there's a lot of ways that you could have given him an award this year, but really he was your heart and soul of your team for that second half, ever since they traded away Aaron Savali, essentially a throwaway. And Chicago, who had already sent Chicago, the White Sox, one of the worst teams in baseball, they sent him down to the minors and it was just a throw into the Savali trade and was nails the rest of the year. He was incredible, hit 3.6 and a half for Milwaukee, and he had the big home run, actually 2 home runs. he had in that playoff series against Chicago. He's already made his legacy with this team. He's going to be the starting first baseman next year, and I hope for the future that they can get him on a solid contract. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. The talent was always there, but he was just someone who needed a change of scenery. So, Midday Coffee Award, go to you, Andrew Vaughn.
The 2025 Andrew Vaughn story is one that will be told and should be told for generations. That's
Yes.
30 for 30 material. That is, it's just incredible. And we saw every minute, every step of the way. Really lucky to have been part of that. Sal Frelick gets my next award. Sal Frelick, you get the blueprint. When we talk about a Murph guy, that's Sal Frelick. Blake Perkins can be Sal Frelick. Garrett Mitchell can be like a Sal Frelick. Isaac Collins can be like a Sal. All these guys, the blueprint, the idea of what we're all shooting for here is exactly Sal Frelick. He was our leadoff hitter. He was hitting 300 for most of the year. He's going to hit for average. He finished at 288. He could steal second anytime. Gold glove type of guy. A fighter, can play any position in the outfield. You got a little bit of mojo to him. Also, just a fun. The city loves him. It was the summer of Sal. Sal Frelick gets the blueprint award for me.
He's Bree's favorite player. He's one of my favorite players. Sal's awesome. Everything that he does, and when you talk about like those physical body types and what anybody could be, anybody could physically be capable of doing what Sal Frelick can do. Sal Frelick is 5'7", 170 pounds. Pat Murphy sits him down and tells him that he should go get his NDA or NBA, whatever the business degree is, because he doesn't have a chance in playing in the big leagues for a long time. But he does it, and he seems like one of those guys that is a pal of everybody in the locker room. One of those just good guys to have on the team. He was one of those most valuable players on the team this year. He was incredible. A real table setter. Chad Patrick gets the Tobias Myers Award as he essentially replicates a rookie season that, for me, honestly, pretty unexpected. He had a great year in AAA last year. It was actually the Southern League MVP, but came up when the Brewers needed him most at the beginning of the year, and he was really good. The record wasn't good. I think it was 3-8, but you look at any of the other numbers, Chad Patrick is going to get Rookie of the Year votes. Chad Patrick was really good in the playoffs, and Chad Patrick is going to be one of those staples, I believe, in the rotation for the future in Milwaukee. He's really got that cutter going, and he's got that mentality and that fire that I really enjoy seeing in a pitcher. I hope he doesn't have a sophomore year like Tobias Myers had, but that rookie year was pretty resemblant. So Chad Patrick, congratulations. You're the 2025 Tobias Myers Award winner.
And Chad Patrick's stuff plays. It plays. He's good. He's a dog. The placement, he's got a little bit of an animal to him. I believe it was him and one other player were the last two sitting in the dugout. Maybe there's two guys that stayed in the dugout, for an extended amount of time after that Game 4 loss. It was Chad Patrick and someone else, I forget, but Patrick's got that dog in him. And speaking of that dog in him, William Contreras gets my Scooby-Doo award. He is the dog of this team. We talked about this team having a lot of fun and not a lot of fire. I texted you during the Dodgers series saying maybe it's time for Ricky Weeks to get ejected again. Contreras he can be that fire for us. When he picked up the phone and called the Brewers fans off that home run, end of the season, he hit a clutch walk-off home run. He played this season with a broken finger as a catcher. Who does that? And he's just like, no, I'm fine. Like it's going to hurt no matter what. I can still play ball. We don't need Scooby-Doo to solve every single mystery, but we do need a dog part of this team. William Contreras, you get the Scooby-Doo award.
That's a good one. Yeah, and he was a good one this year, too. A guy who you could tell was definitely hindered by that broken finger in the beginning of the year, but really turned it on in the second half. And tweets coming out today saying Contreras might have something done to his hand in the offseason. So it may. I feel like that broken
fixed, man.
That broken finger may have just fused, and that might just be what it is now because he just played with it this entire time. But Well, one point I'll bring up, I don't know if Contreras is on this team in 2 years because when his contract is up, he is going to, and deservingly so, sign a big contract. And I don't know if Milwaukee's going to be able to pay it. Milwaukee is excited for their catcher they have coming up next year in Jefferson Caro. And they're probably grooming him to be the next guy. So I'm just going to say to you fans, enjoy Contreras while it lasts. These catchers don't come around a long time, and I don't think he's going to be here for a very long time because he's that good, and Milwaukee just can't keep players like that. That's the sad reality. Christian Yelich gets the Strong Foundation Award. He was kind of he's the middle of this team, and he is that solid player that has the biggest contract on this team, and of course always has expectations year in and year out, being that guy that is getting paid over $30 million a year, of being the middle of the order, of carrying an offense. And at times this year, Christian Yelich looked like that MVP Yelich we remembered. It wasn't the entire time, but when things are all said and done, Christian Yelich had a very good year, 29 home runs, over 100 RBIs, was a staple in a lineup that scored third most runs in all of baseball. He was a big part of that, coming off of that back surgery. I believe NL Comeback Player of the Year award by Sporting News today. He deserves a lot of credit for what he's been able to do and the player that he is into his 30s now. He had a really good year into his 30s, already had a back surgery. I'm happy that Christian Yelich is a Milwaukee Brewer, and he's going to be regarded as one of the best of all time.
I love it. Can't say anything bad about Christian Yelich other than playoff performance, which hitter's going to hit. But he's shown us enough that he's just a darn good ball player, and he's going to keep showing up time after time. I got another dog reference here. Freddie Peralta gets my Balto Award. You remember Balto?
Oh, it was a movie, right?
That was a movie. He's a dog that ran through Alaska. Brought a bunch of medicine to sick kids. He was kind of had the team on his back for a little bit there, bringing medicine to the kids who needed some medicine.
Hey.
He showed up time and time again. There's endurance. It was any climate. I had to ask you if you remembered Balto because by no means is Balto an instant classic, something everybody knows, the world's best dog movie by any means. But
I think I saw it once.
The people that knew Balto think he's the bee's knees, think he saved the day. He did a lot for this team. Freddie Peralta did have this team on his back. When we went into the playoffs, we had one starting pitcher. I mean, once Woodruff went down, Priester we found out his stuff wasn't going to play. We had one starting pitcher going through this playoff, and that was Freddie Peralta. So shout out Freddie getting the Balto Award.
Yeah, he's that pitcher that like has the ability to be one of the best and to go out and possibly win a Cy Young. And this was his best season by pure numbers, but there's still that next step and that extra level that I'm going to be looking for with Freddie Peralta. But all things said and done, he had a really good year, a really, really good year, top 5 in the Cy Young, I think is where he's going to end up with it. I'm happy with it. I wish that he could get rid of the Freddie inning because that happens every start. That inning that just goes 30-plus pitches, and it can be anywhere along that start, but it just essentially takes him outside of the game in the 6th or even 5th inning at times. But where he's at right now, you feel comfortable with him. He's just not the pitcher I think that Milwaukee needs him to be to go deep into the playoffs and to really give them a chance. But he is an important cog and will be for a team that could. I just don't think he needs to be the head.
Just like Balto, baby. I want Balto on my team.
Hey, I like it. No, Freddie had a great year. Congrats on the Balto Award. It's good stuff there, Sam. Trevor McGill gets the Cookies and Milk Award. May not always be the healthiest for us, but it's always the best way to end your day is with some cookies and milk. And Trevor McGill had a really good year as well, and one of the best closers in baseball, and he was healthy. Then, of course, got injured in that last month of the season, but came back in the playoffs and looked really good. He did give up what was that, the third home run to Shohei Ohtani in maybe the greatest game that we've ever seen. But everything else was great from McGill this year. He was awesome. Excited for him to be the anchor of that Brewers bullpen for the future. Just a really solid season and a
I
really
love the
solid way to end everyone's day.
I love that cookies and milk. Cookies is his fastball and milk's the curveball. You put them together,
Hmm.
you got something awesome. And I always said McGill is like the theoretical perfect closer. He's got the juice, he's got the stuff. It's and it lines up sometimes for him. I like that. Joey Ortiz. I'm saying this hopefully. I think he's the new employee, Cody. And when you're a new employee, you can't just show the boss your whole hand right away. You can't be gung ho. I'm gonna do everything. I'm a perfect employee. You got to set the bar low so when you start to do things more, they love you for it. They don't ask you to do all the extra stuff every single time. Joey Ortiz, he showed us his defense. I think he's going to keep showing us more. He couldn't give us his whole hand right away. He's still young. That defense is still going to play. And if it's playing like that, he's playing shortstop for us, Cody. And I'm here for it. I'm only going to root for the hitting to get better. He gets my new employee award.
Joey Ortiz is the worst qualified hitter in Major League Baseball this season. Like
Only going
literally
up.
the worst hitter.
Only going up.
And in the playoffs was the worst hitter once again. Everyone else is the worst hitter. I'm not even gonna bring up the playoffs. Sorry. Joey Ortiz is the worst hitter in Major League Baseball. Really good defense. Still not metrically, like optically, looks awesome there at shortstop. Continue to look at the metrics. Look at what the rest of the baseball writers think. Not a Gold Glove finalist. -2 defensive runs saved. Joey Ortiz cannot be your shortstop if you want to actually compete in the playoffs. I'm going to say that, but I'm sure you're a really good guy, Joey Ortiz. That's kind of where I'm at. I was a lot more hopeful because he came in his rookie year and was a decent hitter, had an over 700 OPS, and was an anchor at third base for Milwaukee. And you were hopeful that he could at least build off of that, but showed no resemblance of any competency at any point this season inside the box. Was a awful.
He's just a new employee. He's just a new employee. He's going to show us more next year.
He's
What you got next?
27 years old, Sam. He's about to be 28 next year. He hasn't done a lick.
Who you got?
He cannot be your shortstop next year. I'm saying that right now. Joey Ortiz cannot be your answer at shortstop. You need to change something. I know you're in the camp where you need him to play. He's not good enough defensively to have him be the worst hitter in baseball. He's not. And he is the worst hitter in baseball.
All right. What's your next award?
Sorry. That was my rant. I did have to do a little bit of the negativity there. I would have just said the send him up without a bat award because he would have been probably an even better hitter by just not swinging at all. My next award goes to Jared Koenig. He gets the new cheap beer award. When it's all like you have that new cheap beer, you're drinking it. At times you think, oh, this is really bad. I shouldn't have bought this. Why am I drinking this beer? I only got it because it was the cheapest thing on the menu, but now I know why it's the cheapest. But then when you get done with the beer and you go back and you look at that empty can, you say, it really wasn't that bad. I'll have another one. Jared Koenig at multiple points this season. I think you and I, we both have had text exchanges that we called him as close to Yoel Payamps as he could be without being Yoel Payamps.
He's trying his best.
At times, yes. But all things considered, he was someone who had a good year, was an above average major league reliever. I think was kind of overshadowed by other guys that were some of the best relievers in baseball this year. But Koenig was not somebody who had me overly concerned. He just, I think, was a victim of just having Abner Uribe kind of right behind him, where Uribe scared us sometimes too, of course. And he's going to get votes for National League Reliever of the Year. Koenig, when it's all said and done, he's that new cheap beer. You got it because it was the cheapest.
That's
you didn't know what the expectations were, But when it's all said and done, you know, it wasn't that bad. I'll have another one.
I like that award. I'm not a Koenig guy, but you know what? Crappy cheap beer that you go back to a couple times, been known to do that. So who can I blame Murph for doing the same thing? Who am I? Next up, we got the Miz. I got to give Miz award here. He gets the Trooper award. He showed a lot of being a trooper for the team. He was thrown into a lot for us. He was thrown into stardom. He was kind of thrown into that All-Star game. He was thrown into the media, all of a sudden being against him for a little bit. We saw the playoff opportunities he had where he was just kind of thrown in, and he took it as a trooper. Also, in 1977, the Canadian rock band Trooper put out a song that charted. It was a good song, and it gave us a phrase that a lot of people use today. And that song is titled "Here for a Good Time, Not a Long Time."
Mm.
Jacob Mizorowski, if you stay healthy, you are going to change your family's lives. Generational wealth is coming your way, my friend. It's not going to be in Milwaukee. Let's enjoy the heck out of this kid for the next couple of years, Cody, because he's electric, and I'm glad he's starting his career with the Brewers.
Hey, you got pre-arb right now. You got a good 4 or 5 years to enjoy Jacob Mizorowski. Enjoy it while it lasts, because he could be one of the best pitchers in baseball, and at times
Yeah.
we saw it this year. He's the kid that you hope can be the head of that rotation that gets you deep into October and makes you okay with Freddie Peralta starting games in the playoffs alongside of him, because Mizorowski's going to hold down that fort. Love that. Nick Mears gets the Chew Toy Award. He was Pat Murphy's Chew Toy this year. He used him a lot. He really enjoyed using them, and then by the end of the year was absolutely ripped to shreds and couldn't even make the playoff roster.
That's a great award.
Mears was he was good. He had a good year, but was way overused, got chewed up, used, abused, and they had to throw him out by the end of it. He's all ripped to shreds.
I think that's perfect.
Nick Mears, congratulations, the 2025 Chew Toy Award.
Cody, you're not gonna like this one. Quinn Priester, you get my Russell Wilson award.
Mm.
Are we sure Russell Wilson was ever really that good, that he was on the Hall of Fame trajectory? Did he benefit from a good defense and being a game manager, having a really good team around him with a good front office and good situations? Then all of a sudden he gets put in a position where he has to be the guy and he can't do it. Are we sure Russell Wilson was ever really that good? I think he was pretty good, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Quinn Priester, you get my Russell Wilson award.
I like that. I think you're pretty spot on. No, I don't think Russell Wilson was always. Well, I didn't think he was a guy that should be in MVP talks at any times, but he was good, like a Kirk Cousins type, like a good solid quarterback. But you're not going to win a Super Bowl because of Russell Wilson or because of Kirk Cousins. And Quinn Priester is never going to be an ace. Like I never had that expectation for him, and he had a really, really good year. Yes, definitely propped up by the Brewers defense. My expectation is a low to middle end starting pitcher, but he's going to be somebody that Milwaukee is going to give a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
I think that playoff game, which is probably why we're even referencing that he wasn't very successful. I think that moment was just big for him. Like, it looked like he was seeing ghosts out there on the mound. He was playing 20 minutes away from where he grew up. I'm still excited for what he's going to be able to do. He's going to be an important cog next year. Someone who I didn't expect to have the results that he did, but came out and like Russell Wilson, he was supposed to be a backup his rookie year, but came out. This is good. No, it resonates well. So, no, that's a good award. Priester, excited for what the future holds for him. Caleb Durbin gets the Short King Award. I think that's an easy one. I mean, 5'6", but was at the end of it, when you look at this trade, the Brewers look like they fleeced the New York Yankees, and Nestor Cortez is a part of this trade. Nestor Cortez, I believe, had an ERA above 6 with the Milwaukee Brewers, so Caleb Durbin would have had to play very well for that to happen, and Devin Williams would have had to play very bad this year for us to say that, and that's kind of exactly what happened. Caleb Durbin, I think, is a good third baseman, in Major League Baseball. I think he is a solid hitter, and I think Milwaukee is going to count on him next year. I'm not sure exactly where, but
what award
he
did you
gets
give
the
him?
Short King Award.
Short King. Well, shout out to not reading text properly. Definitely on my end. Caleb Durbin gets my next award.
Oh, that might be my thing. Oh,
I
well,
don't know.
maybe he gets
Oh.
2 awards today. I
Oh,
like
yeah,
that. He
two
deserves
awards for
them.
Caleb Durbin. He does. He really does. He gets my Babe Ruth award. I think Murph called his shot with Caleb Durbin. We did not have a backup plan for a third baseman. We went in and got Caleb Durbin and said this guy's going to work, and everybody was like kind of wondering about it. I think Murph pulled a Babe Ruth, called his shot with Caleb Durbin, and man, it worked out. Again, someone I want to see playing for the Brewers for a little bit longer. Caleb Durbin, you get my Babe Ruth award.
Yeah, I take fault for that for both awards, but he does get both of those. And I have to give Jake Bauers my next award, and
Yeah.
I did not have that, so
No
I'm
worries.
going to
I'll
let
give
you
up.
take Abner Uribe.
Yeah, I got my.
And
I'll give my last award here. Abner Uribe. I'm excited for this one. I think he's the one that won't get away, Cody. Just in the past couple of years, we've seen both Josh Hader and Devin Williams be at the peak of their powers and leave us. Abner Uribe is 25 years old. His arbitration eligible 2028, free agent 2031. He's not throwing 104 that's going to, knock on some wood, pop his elbow out. I think Abner Uribe, we might just have a really good closer for like a 5-6 year span, and I'm so excited about it.
yeah, he was the guy. What was the award name again? I'm sorry.
The one that won't get away.
The one that won't get away. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the season kind of got away from him by the end of it. I think they pitched him a little bit too much in the regular season. You saw the fatigue there towards the end. He couldn't get that fastball up to 100 in that Dodgers series at all, kind of raising some concerns. But Uribe was incredible. He was electric. He is a big reason why this team won as many games as they did this year. And he's going to be the guy in that Brewers bullpen for years to come, and I'm very excited about it. Jake Bauers, congratulations. You get the They Can't Make Me Hate You award. And by they, I mean me. And anybody who knows me personally and watches Brewery games with me, you know anytime that Jake Bauers comes up to the plate, I might use some language that isn't favorable for young audiences because there's just some part of me that could not stand to watch Jake Bauers inside a Major League batting box. But when it got down to it, Jake Bauers was actually your best hitter in the postseason, had multiple clutch moments, and he has the last 2 years. He has the clutch gene. He plays decent enough defense, and honestly, a really pretty swing. It's just a lot of times it's right over a fastball, but when he connects, and it's usually in the moments that you need him to, it is all in all a beautiful, beautiful thing. So Jake Bauers, they can't make me hate you. And I think that will conclude our 2025 year in review Milwaukee Brewers Big Cheese Awards here. Any final thoughts here, Sam? Want to put the cherry on top of a memorable Brewer season?
It was an awesome season, Cody. I'm glad we were able to see you go through this together, be there every step of the way, really be fully involved with this Brewer season because, man, it's going to be one I'm talking about for years. And just like we saw last year, team's still young. We got a lot of the same guys back next year. I think there's a lot of reason for optimism going forward.
Yeah, we should be excited, but we should reflect as well. And this was a memorable season where there were multiple moments over the course of 97 regular season wins where you were at the edge of your seat, and at the end of it, you got chills. You felt like something else was at play here in Milwaukee. And
you know what is at play in Milwaukee? Giannis Antetokounmpo, 37-14, night one. It's Bucks season, baby. Here we go.
Bucks season. Packers in full swing as well. They take on Rodgers. We'll talk about that next week. That's going to be a fun one. Another one we're going to have to reminisce about. But got fun things coming on the podcast. My name's Cody. That is Sam. We'll see you next week with another edition of A Little Bit of Cheese, your bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast.